pallbearer. Let's go straight into her death. Like, let's start off with how old she was when she died. You know, let's make it nice and simple.
How old were you? Her name was Eliza?
Eliza with a Z.
Oh, Eliza with a Z. It's a beautiful name.
Yeah,
this spiked up, but the other one did.
Okay, how high did it go?
So,
Which one spiked up?
Yeah, which one?
This one spiked up.
What
like
year
a
did
So
you
what
die?
number?
Like a 14. I don't know if it was because I got...
What?
Hold on. Over.
Eliza, what year did you die? Pass away.
That's a good question.
Can you tell me the name of who was a pallbearer at the funeral? Do you miss living here in your mansion?
That's a yes/no question.
Yes or no question?
What did you pass away from?
Eliza, why don't you tell us how you died? I have a nice small group for us tonight. We'll be brief. We just want a few clues, a little bit of communication from you. Any other numbers showing up?
Noticeable ones.
Okay. When that 14 showed up, did they match?
That's the thing. This one did.
Okay,
This
so
one didn't match, so I don't.
it didn't have a reading at all.
No, well, I had a reading. It just wasn't.
Yeah, it's not going to be like 14.1 and 14.1. It's probably not going to be that exact because they are two different style of devices. Did that go up again?
Like that just went up to a 6 or something.
Okay, I'll take a 6. But let's keep it above 14 at this point.
Okay.
The average spike for this location is about 18 to 22. And that's in random locations around the space. I'm trying not to get too close to that white truck just because there's somebody in there.
How beautiful was your garden?
You got anything going on there, Trey?
I haven't seen anything.
Okay. And again, with that one, it's not always a real-time catch.
Right.
Holy crap! I just heard a woman's voice.
What did it say?
I couldn't understand it, but it creeped me out.
Could be fine.
I asked her how beautiful was her garden.
And what did you don't know what you heard?
I just heard a woman's voice say something. It was
Okay.
great, or it was great, or something like that.
If it had an accent to it, that'll help if it's disembodied.
Yeah, what?
If it has an accent, so a disembodied voice is actually her speaking to us.
It was
Most
a
of the
woman.
disembodied voices I've ever found have been from this space.
It didn't even sound like a radio. It sounded like
Okay.
a woman's voice.
That's definitely something to keep an eye out for then.
Eliza, tell me more about your garden.
So do you see how it's picking him up?
Did you enjoy your garden?
I'll ask yes or no question.
Tell me about the indigo, that blue color. Did you have a lot of dresses made in that color? Is that a very popular color? So tell me about your death. What did you die from? Did you suffer for a long time?
Those are a lot of yes/no
Yes or
questions.
Can't ask yes or no
Those
questions.
are all yes/no questions.
Was it a long-suffering death?
That was another yes or no question.
Huh?
Stop asking yes or no questions.
Or like,
Oh, you said no?
Yeah,
No
don't
yes or
ask
no
any yes/no
No
questions.
yes or no questions.
Oh.
They're too easy. We want the details.
Okay.
So,
so like, how did you like live in that?
but if
Oh.
like the dress question was good.
Huh?
The dress question that you asked was good, but
Okay.
you still asked if it was did you make a lot of dresses out of your indigo?
Yeah.
You
Did
can
you use the blue? Did you like the color blue?
can you tell me what you use the indigo for?
Oh.
Yeah.
Eliza, tell me what you use the indigo for.
to pick you guys up. That's good. Got all 3 of you in there. Yeah, it's pretty quick to pick you guys up on this.
Is it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm noticing like obviously the more light there is, natural light, the easier it is.
Right.
But I mean, you could see.
What color was your hair?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty close to him. He's in the dark, and it's still picking him up.
Can you tell me how much?
What is the heart when it showed up? The heart. What does that mean?
When it what?
It looked like there was a heart.
It's
Or maybe
picking-
it must have been the circles closer to
Yeah,
each other.
it's
That's what
looking
it
for
was.
extra points.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
it just
I
draws-
think 2 of the dots were close to each other, and it looked
Yeah.
like a heart real quick. So that's probably what it was.
I'm just testing distance. I mean, she's probably, what, a good 15, 20 feet away from me, and it's picking her up. Something just showed up next to her. You hearing anything?
I thought I said how many bedrooms were in your house, and I heard 5. Room. Yeah. Wow.
Any numbers, Jack? Oh, we've had that answer before. I can't prove it, but it's always the same answer.
What did you have work in your garden for you?
This is like the one camera everybody asks me about.
That one.
So I finally found a way. Like I got in touch with the developer of the app
Yeah.
and said, how does it work? And they're like,
So you run off just the camera off of the.
it's got to be a specific style.
Gotcha.
So iPad Pros after 2020 have an extra lens in it that uses
Okay.
LiDAR technology.
Okay.
So
I know that.
that's the way it works best.
I remember how I have an iPad Pro. I'm trying to remember what year I bought it. I think it was one of the first ones.
And I'm not an Apple guy.
Right.
Like I have no clue how to use
Oh,
an Apple
really?
product, like
Okay,
at all. So
okay.
like my wife had to sit me down and show me how to load everything, and
That's all I work with is Apple stuff.
I do everything. I mean, I'm Microsoft and Android all day long.
I always was, and then I'm a graphic artist, so we
Oh,
use
okay.
Mac all the
Yeah.
time at work.
Yeah, and I have to use the because I make video commercials for
Okay.
my tours.
Okay.
So she's taught me how to use the video maker. I can't
Right,
remember the name of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because that's what she went to school for, is
iMovie.
graphic design.
Okay, cool.
So she designed the logo and all that stuff. You know, all
Very
my book
cool.
covers.
Cool
Like,
stuff.
yeah.
Cool.
So we're kind of a good team.
I actually had family immigrate. Would they migrate here? They came through Charleston as opposed to New York. They came through.
They would have been off of one of the wharfs right on the other side of that warehouse.
Boys kind of started here. His wife died and ended up moving to Augusta
Hmm.
after that. So there's always.
I heard, I said, how old was your husband when you got married to him? And I heard 64. I just
that
remember the
was your-
cemetery.
Oh, in the cemetery.
Okay. Well, we're pretty close to St. Philip Cemetery. You may have gone in
That might have-
Probably.
on one side of it.
I think so.
So this used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur. So like take 10 paces, turn and shoot. With yours, anything above 5 at this
Yeah.
location, because we do have lampposts
Yeah,
nearby.
that's-
So it looks like you picked up on that already. I might have to give you a job later. You're not recording yet, so go ahead and hit that circle. There you go. Perfect. See, that's why you guys keep me around. Get you guys lots of footage to watch.
We're basically amateurs, right?
You're all amateurs
Very
when you guys come to
bad.
see me. You ought to see me with 10 people.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because I got spirit boxes, I got a digital
I'm
Ouija
so
board I
lucky
use.
that we're
like,
just us.
yeah,
But I wish I could get more. I just don't know
it's
what
okay.
I'm doing.
I mean, we're using, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're using 7 devices between the 4 of us tonight. So you guys are still going to get a lot of data back. But anyway, let's get to the duels. We all tell the same story down here, but I tell it a little bit differently because we're ghost hunting. It's not just a campfire and marshmallow story, right? So let's kind of get into some of the details. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. He moves down here. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it is not coincidence, just so you know, because it does occur a lot. Yeah, and it has to be the specific lyric of Brown Eyed Girl. Then we have part of his name. So he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after her money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. So the coachman that brought him into town, though, set him up to be robbed and killed. This guy just graduated med school. He looks like he's got money. He's dressed pretty well. So he's going to get robbed and then killed. However, somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stopped on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We hear the letters RI on a spirit box all the time. And like I said, I have a digital Ouija board in the bag. It's a new device that they just invented. It's not super productive, so that's why we're not using it tonight.
Yeah, I got chills.
Yeah, most people I say Ouija board and they get freaked out a little bit.
I got chills.
Basically, it uses the same type of technology that Jack is using. So
Oh,
any
boy.
EMF spike, it stops the cursor on a letter and then drops it for you so you can see it to see if it's going to spell anything out for you. So it's basically a digital Ouija board, just using EMF spikes to be able to determine which letters to drop. So back to the doctor. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Why don't you come
I
with me?
just heard kill.
Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be safe and good to go. Dr. Ladd took the offer. The two became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He wasn't after Amanda's money. So Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can get married. The doctor becomes known as the whistling doctor because it's the 1780s. He whistled all the damn time. So when the other tours are down here, they always tell you to listen for the whistles. However, if you're going to come down here on your own and turn your voice recorders on to see if you can get anything, keep in mind every local knows the story. I heard whistling in here as soon as we got here
I was
from
going to
another
say,
tour.
I heard it as
Yeah,
well.
they're
when we
all,
did.
everybody does it. So anybody walking up and down Queen Street or Cumberland Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every night because we've passed my garage, which means at the end of the tour, I have to pass the alley to go to my car, and I always throw a whistle, especially since I got kicked out of here. We're going to talk about that in a minute. That's the fun part of the story. Back to Dr. Ladd. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. So that's kind of the hierarchy of the way things went down there. However, they talk about these plays on the way home. They go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare, and they start arguing over the new actress along the way home. Dr. Ladd thought the new actress was great. Ralph, he didn't think so. So the argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. They both get pretty pissed off. They go their separate ways. Ralph has friends here. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in a paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society, sir. The doctor sees the ad in the paper and he rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley and settle this, over a newspaper ad. So they come down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel, by the way. Ralph, however, has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd drops to the ground. He's not dead. His friends pick him up. They carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later.
From in the knee?
It's
Yeah,
1786. The bullets back then are a lot different. He refused medical treatment because he's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out the bullet himself. He's more worried about lead poisoning than he is the bullet wound. Again, much different types of bullets. So, again, keep in mind every ghost story tells you to listen for the whistles. So that's one thing that they say you can hear down here, but we also have the voice recorder that's been running this whole time. So when you're listening to your audio, just listen for whistles in the background. It's going to be faint, and it's not going to be very clear. So it's going to be very faint in the background. I will also tell you that it is always this quiet down here, even during the daytime of a busy Saturday afternoon. I don't know how or why. It's creepy, it's eerie, but this is also one of the most beautiful spaces in all of Charleston, in my opinion. So let's talk about how I got booted out of here. That's the fun part. This alley didn't always go all the way through that way. It was actually cut off by a wall about halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which means those bricks down there are older. Those bricks on the other side are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint and fingerprint swipes in those bricks at the end of the alley.
I just got chills.
Now, I used to take people all the way through here, not knowing I was out of bounds. Again, I was new at this. I took my group down there, and they all want to huddle around the brick with the handprint in it to see if they can get a reading. Well, I treat that handprint the same way I do a grave. The kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. He's with his mama somewhere. So, again, I'm trying to shoo them along because it's also right outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. Well, not knowing I was out of bounds, the new owner came out screaming. My daughter was on the tour. She thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management, mainly for Walmart, for over 20 years. Like, not working Thanksgiving ever again in my life. So, the next day was November 28th of 2020. These dates are important. So, I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, or reroute my group. I told my team that night, I'm going to reroute, just because I want to just not, stir the pot. I didn't believe in the story that we were about to go talk about, which it's exactly what we're going to be talking about, because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're in Charleston. There's a lot of pirate stories here. So before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell that team that we were going to be investigating the famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I went, shit, we'll see what happens. We get down there, I told a little bit I did know about pirates. Somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what that meant in real time. I researched it the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial on my first tour there. Now, I've been there dozens of times because it's the Powder Magazine. It's Charleston. You can't go to Charleston without seeing the Powder Magazine. And I've investigated it and didn't come up with anything. So, I will tell you that I've read more pirate books than I ever wanted to in my entire life, ever since then, trying to make sure I have enough factual data based on pirate lore. Luckily, I have a master's degree in creative writing, and I'm able to decipher the information. So, everything we're going to be discussing at the next location, and we will be able to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion, is based off of a minimum of 2 resources. So I don't tell you anything unless I was able to verify it for certain, so that way you actually had some factual data. Once we get there and I'm done with the history of it, you and I will switch devices, so you get a chance to use the Stickman camera and kind of see what's going on there. I just want you to keep in mind, it's other tours like to cut through there, and there might be a few cars parked there. So just kind of keep in mind with that. I've had this on pointing in that direction the entire time, so I'm going to go die from in a Jamaican jail. So use your imagination. It's pirates, we can make it romantic. And
Did they give birth in the jail?
we have no idea. We have
Never got the answer?
Nope, I can't find it.
I mean, when you asked the question, would you get an answer?
We do get the word baby, but we don't know if it's relative to the baby she had in Cuba.
Oh.
So, again, we could get some bleed over from other, like this is a hot spot for Charleston. There's like 15 stories around here. I only tell the Anne Bonny bit, and if something else pops up, that's when I wait to see if I need to tell an extra piece of history of Charleston. Again, you have to kind of really know where you're at to kind of figure out like where the things are coming from. I'm now excited about the James that we had over there because I was like, oh shit, I don't know who that is. But the bleed over works both ways. So again, you and I are gonna switch. This guy is already recording, so grab those 2 handles and it's nice and light. And I'll take that guy from you because I want to play with this one. I haven't really messed with it yet. Of course, now I hit the whole button. Again, just be mindful of the cars in here. Other tours like to pass through. So let's just kind of, we're going to know within 5 or 10 minutes or so if Anne's here or not, based on what you're hearing.
So, Anne, tell me, what happened to your baby in Cuba? Are you afraid to tell me? Tell me what happened.
Make sure like these don't interfere with each other. I haven't
How
even
many
used this
children?
guy yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Brand new, huh?
I had a tour a few nights ago.
Come on,
It was the
stay
first time we
okay.
had it out, and I let them.
Hey,
Pop up.
what's mean?
Don't be scared. You're a little bit of a pirate in you. I know you're scared. Let's show up.
Is that what it said?
Tell me about your babies. How many did you have?
Huh.
Had a lot of men in your life.
Okay, I think.
I got a spike like over there. It's not there anymore, but it was like a little flash right there, and it was kind of looked like in a body shape, like a little bit.
Now, I will tell you that I get a lot of psychics on this tour because they
Mhm.
want to kind of test their abilities and, you know, with actual measurements. More than 2 psychics have reported seeing a soldier over there, like where the brush is, always wearing the exact same thing, blue pants, white shirt, which doesn't make sense because we're in the South. If it was from the Civil War,
Yeah.
it should have been all gray, right? So
Yeah.
it could be from the French and Indian War that it served. Like, I have no idea. I've never really gone into like the deeper end of. I should have because of so many reports of the same soldier. But you're pointing in the right direction because it will pick up the leaves over there because they
Yeah.
are, you know, obviously long.
I know.
So kind of keep that in mind. Any kind of long edge, it's gonna, you know, put that in
Yeah.
there. It's picking up probably that branch above that over there.
Mhm.
So, yeah, nice slow movements out of there. Tour groups coming through, just kind of hold it like a suitcase so they don't think you're filming them. But we should be good.
When you see somebody, does it just like with your own eyes or just like on here? Like when you see like.
So think of it as kind of like the Snapchat filters. So you can put like the dog face on, and then all of a sudden there's a dog face next to you, and there's nobody there. It's the same principle. It's the easiest way to explain it to you. Have you seen those before, where somebody says there's somebody next to me, and there's, you know, like it's a ghost because there's a Snapchat filter over them?
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing. It's
Like on here.
yeah.
Oh, because like I was like the clothes, like people seeing people.
That's a
with the clothes.
psychic.
Oh.
So
Let's see.
us normal that don't have those home skills,
Mhm.
we need the equipment to be able to see those kind of
Okay.
things. So are you going to be able to see the stick figure over there with your own eyes? Probably not.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure like it's not from a tree branch or
Okay.
you know, the brush or those kind of things.
Mhm.
All right, so tell me what you got. You haven't told me anything in a while.
I don't think I got anything.
You heard a few things because I heard you repeat a few things. What'd you get?
I asked, what was the name of the ship, but I didn't hear any response to Calico Jack's ship.
What year were you born?
67.
Because she heard 64 with the August 5th over there.
65. I thought I heard 65, didn't I?
I wrote down
Okay,
64.
64. I couldn't get anything from her. I thought for sure she was going to pop up.
It's okay. We can get closer to the powder magazine. We just need to be cognizant of the cars around.
You want to listen?
Yeah, I want to.
He wants to give it a whirl. It's okay. Switch him up.
Huh? Can I ask some questions?
Does it pick up?
I was asking,
Yo.
I can't remember what you asked. Oh, I'm looking for
It's not even. Yeah, you gotta watch. Make sure you're recording. People are walking by.
Oh,
Bring it down.
that scared me. I think
I just got Jim and then that's.
You got what?
Jim.
Which is short for James.
Right.
Ask
And
questions.
then that.
Ask Ann some questions.
Well,
And then Mary.
So
Oh, I asked what
I think it picks up shadows, and that's what scared me because it looked
Oh,
like.
because of your long shadow right there.
Yeah, so I waved my arm just to check, but that scared me like really bad.
That's funny. And how old are you, man?
I'm 15. I forgot for a second.
My daughter's 16 and she's on the tour. You know, like when she's down here from Myrtle Beach, like she always likes asking me, "Is there kids?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know." You know, because the way the tickets are sold now is all adult. So, but yeah, she usually clings to the teenagers when they come in.
Ooh.
Small group, just 2 people. So they're using a spear box the rest of the time. That's just one group. And the person using that camera was filming me, and the person with the spear box, we were just using a white film went over the person using the spear box, and it shut off
Yeah.
the spear box. So it was like,
That's
so we left the area. I was like, maybe it's just this weird spot. So we left the little corner, the spirit box turned right back on.
Did-
It was on record. There was no interruption in the recording. Like it was the strangest thing.
I'm getting like a solid body over here. I'm telling you, I'm making sure that the leaves aren't in frame. Picture, like right, like
Those leaves are directly below the cross, like the earthquake bolts up there.
really, but it was like.
But when it shows up, it'll be a stick figure.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
a lot
and
of
it was
times
like-
if it's strong enough, we can get interaction. Like, hey, can you raise your hand or lift your foot?
Like it had like a head, shoulders, and
You
a
did?
body, and I could see like it's a like waist,
Good.
and it was
Okay.
like
Now that
in
you've
that
seen
direction.
some footage, go ahead and hit that record button to stop it, because it all gets spliced back together.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure we don't lose it.
I was trying to make sure that the leaves weren't like in shot, and it still showed it. But of course, now that I'm showing it, it's not popping up anymore.
There's that branch again getting in your way.
Yeah, it was over there by the thing.
But it's kind of good when it's kind of like the thermal. Like you almost want to have an actual human in there, so that way you can have something to verify against.
Yeah. Like it's kind of freaking out
It is
where
freaking out.
where it was before. That's
You know
where
why?
it was.
Is because of the branches right above him.
Oh,
It thinks
yeah.
it's part of him, so it's going to go
Uh-huh.
up from time to time. So that's debunked right there. That's an easy one.
Okay. But I swear I didn't.
Like if you had that and he wasn't in the picture,
Mhm.
we would have something.
Yeah, that one. There's a what?
Is that normal for the coldness to be attached? It was all cold going up his back.
Just like that.
Yeah, is that normal?
Again, when you have the hot spot in there of skin, which is going to be 97 to 99 degrees, it's going to put a differentiate of the colors. It's going to balance it out. It's a very complex
It
device.
is. I didn't know if like somebody was touching him.
No,
Like
he's got something in his pocket. Like in your hoodie pocket.
I don't have anything here.
Well, the air in there is going to be cooler.
okay.
You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah. Also, my hoodie's not touching my back, so.
Right. Right, yeah, it's not touching him, so it's not picking up his body heat as much
Ooh.
as if it were touching his skin. That thing is great for like fixing the dryer, like finding where like if something in the tubing goes wrong, kind of thing.
So I'm looking for what?
So-
Like a cold, like a figure.
You see like the windshield of that car is black. I think it's black.
What's your favorite pirate?
Hmm.
Got a lot. Got a couple names. I got that named Campbell.
Okay.
Wow.
I've asked a couple of things like favorite month of the year, or favorite season, and but that didn't really get anything. Campbell was the only thing that kind of stood out. I can't remember the question I asked was like, what was the favorite pirate or something along those lines.
And we will get things relative to Blackbeard here because there are Blackbeard stories around.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of a tie because his, his crew would go to the pirate house, which is right down the street on the other side of this cemetery. So I mean, we have a little bit of a tie. We will get things like Teach Edward. His name is Edward Teach.
Okay.
We'll get Black and Beard. We'll get the date of his death. Those kind of things. We'll get
Okay.
North Carolina, where he was killed. We'll get weird little things like that. Small little clues. It's not
Right.
always the full story, but we will get things relative to Black. So we
Okay.
have the month July that showed up on my word list, which is
Okay.
curious. Again, there was another with the name Campbell. Now I have to look at the cemetery list to see if somebody named Campbell is in there who died in July. So that would be something like, I don't know.
Well, we have a nephew named Campbell, so that was curious.
Okay.
So that was interesting. That's her maiden name.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my maiden name. But my nephew passed away too, and that's his brother. Campbell is his brother.
Where was Campbell?
Where?
Nowhere.
His mom just passed away as well.
Not sure.
what's mom's name?
Betty or Elizabeth? Well, she's Florence Elizabeth Reed Keenan, but she went by Betty.
Okay.
So if that helps.
The other thing I'm interested in is where presidential showed up. John Calhoun, your 7th vice president, is buried on the other side of that wall. We normally don't see things from him until the month of March, which we're close.
Right.
Because he was born in March and he died in March. So, again, I know where July is. That belongs to the doctor. What's funny is we normally get the number 7 because it's the 7th month, but he was also born on July 7th. So we normally get 2 7s that show up. We'll get double 7s all the time. The weird thing is the number 7 is very prominent in this location for a couple of reasons. The doctor's birthday, 7th vice president, the powder magazine serves 7 different wars. So again, we get the number 7 here a lot, but we need the second.
Andrew?
Did you say Drew?
Yeah, Andrew.
You just heard Andrew.
Just heard Andrew.
You did?
Yeah. He was real faint.
What did he do for a living?
He was just a
He was
high
17.
school kid.
Okay. Because I just got the word businessman.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's why I was like, wait a minute.
Wrong
But yeah, I got to write down
no.
Andrew.
Oh, his dad, Andrew's a businessman.
Yeah.
They're named after each other.
Okay. Again, it sounds like you guys have a lot of somebody's telling you that they're here. I'm not trying to be a psychic or
Really?
any kind of give you,
No.
but you definitely have a lot of I don't see this that often where you have this many clues coming back to you.
Yeah, that is true.
Wow.
Your birthday showing up. You have Andrew. You have Campbell. There's a lot of weird little things that are popping up.
It is. I would love to hear from you.
That would be very interesting if that showed up. Go ahead and hit the stop button on that. You're going to use it at the
Okay.
next location. Mine. You keep breaking stuff. And you're recording. You're up and live. Perfect. I'm going to go see if I can find a hot spot. We're just going to spread out.
Okay.
So
Sounds
let's have
good.
some fun in here. Make sure you don't hit that hold button.
Okay. Okay. Come over here, bro. Come on. I want to talk with you. Come on, man. Have a nice, pleasant conversation. You sound so for your house.
Any readings from you?
Not really.
Okay. I didn't get anything where we at the regular spot, but it's not every single night.
Mm-hmm. Remember not to get the sky and they can not
Don't get the sky.
Jeez. Come on, man. Foggy.
See my hand? You watch when I take my hand away.
Oh, like your print?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Hmm. Crap. Ooh.
You got anything going on with yours?
Not really.
Any stick men running around?
No, it's just the lights.
If you can, try to sneak us a little bit of footage, like from afar, of that bust. 'Cause that's where we had him show up before.
I was gonna ask, like,
Yeah.
what would be a
He was
good
on the
thing.
right-hand side of where we're, like, if we're looking at him now, he was over on the right.
Okay.
But yeah, just try to
Like,
sneak some
walk by.
footage without them in the frame if we can.
Okay. Hey, is that you? Or is that just a tree? Raise your right arm if that's a tree. Or like, like raise your right arm if that's you. Okay, well, whatever. Hey, Dad. Huh. I think the man is right in front of that statue.
Hold
I think
it
he's
up.
right there. Well,
Oh,
no, I think he's like right
it's
in front.
picking up that. I think it's picking up the shape.
No, it was right in front of it, and I thought it was okay that, but I came over here and checked.
Wait
It's
for
right in front of it.
Wait for the people to see that. Like standing in front of the statue.
What was that? Come on, man. Show up.
Team.
Anything?
Anything coming from you? Any numbers at all?
Not really numbers, but like
What about stick
Some-
figures?
Some sticks.
I just can't. It's not verifiable if it's a tree or not. But it's always like I checked on both sides and in the middle. It's in the front of the statue. Like I made. It might just be like a branch or the statue itself is just. a
What's
little
nice about that camera is when I get a screenshot from it, I can then lighten it to see what's behind it.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just make it a JPEG, and then I just put a filter on it to brighten it up. So it doesn't matter how dark it is.
Yeah.
I'm still, if I see something, I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure if that's from the bars, a branch. I'll just screenshot it and then lighten it up 3 or 4 times so I can see exactly what's there.
Because it was like right in front of it,
Okay.
and there wasn't really any leaf in the way.
But it may have been the bars because it does have that gate around it.
Yeah.
So that's what we were concerned with the first time we saw something.
Well, it's kind of like in front of the whole thing itself.
Okay.
Like the entire thing itself. I'm pretty.
Well, also because it's such a big thing, depending on which shape you got, it might just pick up the edges of it and then put. Do you see what I'm saying? Like we have like the shoulders and the body, torso right here, and then it might put a dot at the top of Washington's head. Do you see where I'm going? Like so, it looks like a full figure. So I'll see if it matched up with the sides of the memorial over there.
Like in front of it, it was just kind of matched up.
Okay.
I didn't see what it was matched up to, but it was just like it made it show.
Okay.
I don't know where it was.
Fair enough.
It was at, but
But that's the beauty of the work I do. Is
Yeah.
I'm going to dive in.
yeah.
And if we got a disembodied voice on,
One of
the
those?
spirit box,
Yeah.
I cut it out and I put it into an editing so I can take out the white noise so I can see if there's actually a disembodied voice cutting through multiple radio stations. So if because you can see the pulses of all the different stations. So if something is cutting through it, I count to see how many, to kind of verify that it's disembodied.
Huh? Well, so what was the sun's name? Can you tell me?
What do you got?
Mount Everest?
No.
No, I didn't think
Well,
it was Mount Everest, but it was
Is it
funny.
Everest?
I said, can you tell me what your son's name? And it said, protection guaranteed.
Yeah, he's.
And then when I came over here and asked, I said, well, why won't you tell me your son's name? And it said, most definitely not.
Okay. So.
Evidently
So he's
does
not
not
giving
want
it-
to
yeah,
share.
he's not-
them.
he's-
And then Mount Everest.
Well, it also makes sense too because I went through all of the normal hotspots of where we find those high EMFs, and I got nothing. So,
There must be just way
yeah.
too much activity.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're going to hear me talking like Henry. I know there's a lot of people here, but if you can give us a little bit of communication, that'd be great. So,
Then when I asked, I started saying, are you standing in front of the statue? And so I knew not to ask yes or no, so I said, do you prefer standing in front of the tree or the statue? And it said, location does not matter, or something like that. Location.
what's weird is I heard this story on another ghost tour at the Charleston Library Society because that's where his collection is. I wasn't expecting. I didn't even know his bust was here. This is Washington. I was hoping to find something in Washington. Like when I came in, that was the
Right.
hope. And we still get things.
So why is he here? Because of a statue?
I would say because of his bust. And then not to mention, it's Charleston. He's probably, bouncing all over anywhere. Yeah.
Where
could
was
have
his
been.
house?
I don't know. I have yet to find that. I did read his biography written by that college friend, and it doesn't say where he lived. It describes where he lived.
But it wouldn't be in the paper? I mean, in the archives?
You really got to dig to try to find some of that stuff, especially with somebody. I mean, they're starting to
Because
teach
what years?
mid 1800s.
So it should be.
Yeah.
Recorded somewhere.
But with all the damn fires we've had,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we lost a lot of census records of houses I was trying to find, from
That's
other
true.
stories and that kind of thing. So,
It's kind of difficult with all the low-hanging trees in this area.
yeah, this one's a little hard with the stick figure camera, but it does give you a little bit more versatility to move around and be flexible. Unlike
He's
the
having
app.
more fun with it than I thought.
He's having a blast.
He'd be more, I wish he would have had it earlier. I would've
But
got
he's
more
having a
from it.
blast in piano. I think he appreciates how I present it every week.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that's really what kicked it in. Because at first he came in, he was a little like,
Oh, yeah, he was just
shuffling his
all
feet
the
a little
way.
bit. I saw him.
He
Uh,
makes fun of me like crazy.
Yeah. Well, when you guys get all the data back, he's not going to stop going through it.
I'm probably gonna run it through so I can see audio peaks and when you send the audio stuff.
I use Audacity.
Yeah. Are you just gonna send audio?
It'll be MP3.
Okay, I can I have Audacity. I can
Yeah.
go through that.
Yeah, you just download it and then you can copy it into Audacity. Now it's going to be well over 2 hours. I don't know how long we've been out here, so it'll take a few
Yeah.
minutes to load. So just give it a little bit of time. But if you find something, you can cut it out and put it in a separate piece, send it over to me. Just tell me where you found it, and I'll either prove it or debunk it pretty quickly.
Oh,
Do
speaking
the
of 2
initials
hours.
BG mean anything?
BG. No, but I'm still gonna write it down.
And I got ABC after that. And the funny thing is, I asked earlier, since he wouldn't tell me his son's name, what were his initials?
Yeah, that's not it either.
No, just
Hey, son.
whatever's coming out.
All right, I say we call it, especially with some of the answers that you had. It feels like we're poking the bear with the sun tonight. I didn't get any major readings, which was a disappointment for me. I was hoping that I was going to be able to find it with the new. You got it. All right, so let's
I
hit
did get a
over.
lot of interesting answers, though. I mean,
Yeah.
answers that were maybe not the information that we were asking about, but
Factual, but
Right.
they were detailed.
conversational.
Right. That's not a fact.
How far
Did you show up yet?
I just want to see it real quick. I just want to see because he was like right in front of it, and it usually connects. Okay. I just wanted to look real quick.
I'll take those.
Thank you so much. It was